909 693. We'll go over to Chris, the Spurs fan now, and Robbie's mum Val isn't going to be impressed with Chris because he wants to talk about VAR.
Is my mum going to put the foot through the wireless?
Your mum doesn't like VAR, does she?
Doesn't like me either.
Chris, talk to us about VAR.
Yeah, sure. I'll make a quick point on Spurs first, though. I mean, I thought today was back to the abject games that we've watched a lot of recently. I was at the game on Wednesday. I thought the intensity was far superior to what I'd witnessed recently. But today was right back to what we've been watching all season. I mean, where we got to last season, Champions League final, that was fundamentally built around a high-pressing game, great work rate. And we just haven't seen that. There's a lot of passengers in that team at the moment, and I think that's incredibly frustrating.
Chris, what do you think of Harry Kane? I said it in the trail. Harry Kane once again got a goal, scores goals for fun. He'll score goals every single season. When comes the point for him to think, do you know what? It's time to move on, because with this Spurs team, he's not going to win anything, in my opinion. I know they got 2 Champions League final. Was it Roy Keane on TV said, if I was Manchester United, just go and buy Harry Kane? You might say, well, what are they going to win in the near future? But Manchester United, not winning trophies for Manchester United will be far bigger, playing for them, but it's far bigger than winning no trophies with Spurs. So what's going to keep Harry Kane? Because you're not going to win nothing this year, in my opinion. You're mid-table, you might get in the top 4, but is that good enough for Harry Kane?
Well, I have to say I completely disagree with you, Robbie, with all due respect.
Why?
I mean, you look at Harry Kane, he's an absolute class act. He'll go down as the top England goal scorer of all time.
Possibly.
He may well chase down Alan Shearer's record. And does the fact that he needs to win trophies mean that he has to move? Is that what he has to have to be recognised as a good player?
Well, no, it doesn't.
Well, I'll just make the point, Robbie. You can look at players like Tom Cleverley that have won the Premier League. I mean, are you going to remember him in the same bracket as Harry Kane? I think the trophy argument is somewhat fabricated at the end of the day. If the bloke wins a couple of FA Cups and a League Cup, is that massively going to heighten Harry Kane's reputation?
So you think so? Harry Kane's going to be so. Alan Shearer is a good point. Won the Premier League with Blackburn Rovers, 260 goals, Newcastle legend. So he's remembered because of.
I'll make the point: is Alan Shearer remembered because he won 1 Premier League title? Or is he remembered because he is the highest Premier League goal scorer of all time?
The second one, I agree with you. But when you speak to the likes of Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, all the players who have won trophies, all the Man City players, the celebrations for the top players is to win trophies. Harry Kane's going to be a multi-millionaire wherever he goes. So surely when Harry Kane looks back and thinks, do you know what? I'm a multi-millionaire, but I didn't win anything. Is he going to be, if he's not the all-time top scorer in the Premier League, but second? If I said to you now, who's scored the second and third most ever goals in the Premier League?
Wayne Rooney. I think Henry's up there, but anyway, that's.
So you don't know. So you don't know.
My point.
Hang on, no, wait there. You don't know. So if Harry Kane isn't the top scorer at the end of his career, and he's not the top scorer because 260 is hard to catch. If he's not the top scorer, he's second or third. Are we going to say, Harry Kane, what a player? He was the second most ever top scorer in the Premier League and he's won nothing. Harry Kane, for me, the player he is, I agree with a lot of points you said there, that he is a class act, very, very good player. But staying at Spurs, he must be getting frustrated because they're not going to win anything. So surely you're going to have to move.
Well, I don't know. I disagree with you there, Robbie.
Fine.
You look at, there's plenty of players that have gone abroad and won trophies. And I don't think that necessarily puts you in the bracket.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a question then. Harry Kane, when he retires, what will he be more happy with? Having a longevity at one football club, winning nothing, hypothetically, or with loads of money in the bank, or at the end of his career, sitting down, loads of money in the bank, with 15 trophies in his cabinet. Well, Harry Kane, what do you think Harry Kane will feel?
Quite honestly, comes across to me as a man that likes scoring goals. He's a club man. He loves playing for England. The bloke is going to break all the records, and I don't think he has to go away and win trophies to go down in history as one of the best players of all time.
Right, well, Chris, we're going to bring in Josh. Josh, you're a Spurs fan, aren't you? But you have a slightly different view. Am I right on Harry Kane?
Hi, yeah, it's Josh. How you doing?
We're good, thank you. Go on.
So basically, it's statistically shown in the last 6 months that Harry Kane is declining. And, I'm a Spurs fan. I don't like to hear that, obviously. But from where he was two years ago, a year ago, listen, a year ago, I thought he was the best striker in the world, possibly. And, now, He's taking less shots than ever. Taking less shots than he ever was. He's getting into less high quality chances. You know, he's not even converting them. He's taking less shots from outside the box as well. You know,
well, that's that. If you're saying all that, that's because of the team he's playing in.
Possibly, it possibly is.
There's my point, Chris.
You know, it possibly is. But you look at the players around him: Ericsson, Ali. These are creative players. These are really creative players who are putting up a lot of passes and a lot of key chances a game. So, you know, if you're telling me it's the players around him, then I don't know. But, you know, they are creative players. And I do think it's got something to do with the team, maybe.
So, Josh, what are you saying? What are you saying then? If you're a Spurs fan, would you sell Harry Kane?
I wouldn't sell him, no. I think what he needs is a rest period. It could be from 3 weeks. A rest period.
Rest?
Yeah. A rest period. You know, we rush him back from injury. He saw the Champions
He's just scored at Anfield today. You would arrest him?
Nah, right. Listen, he needs to play in the big games. We know that, and we need to keep him fit. We need to keep him strong. But at the moment, I feel like he goes missing in games. I think you surely agree on that, surely.
Chris?
Well, I've watched a lot of Harry Kane over the last few months, and I think he's actually evolved as a player. I mean, there's numerous games that I've watched where he's happy to come deeper, let Son run in behind, let Ali run in behind, let other players run off him, and he pulls the strings from that number 9 position. So I actually think he's developing into a better player.
So
he now does a lot of unseen work, as well as still scoring those goals.
Chris, you stay there. So you're saying he's developing. Josh, you're saying he's declining. I'm saying Man United should buy him. Mark, you're a Manchester United fan. Harry Kane, would you take him?
No, not in a million years. No, we've got... by the way, evening, Robbie, evening, Emma. We've got... Rashford's on fire at the moment. He's going well. Martial will only get better. And we've got Dan James as well. There's 3 good attackers.
So, Mark, what you're saying then, Chris and Josh are still there. What you're saying, Harry Kane wouldn't get in your side?
We don't really need him. If you bought him, he'd probably get in there. But no, I don't think we need him.
Chris?
A brilliant player has to meld into a team. I feel myself that Tottenham they've worked around, and no disrespect to Tottenham, but last season and the season before, they were all working to support Harry, get Harry the ball, and he'll score. And that was true. You know, he was a superstar scorer. But if that is not working, then he's not scoring. He's off the ball at the moment.
Yeah, well, honestly, I mean, I'm incandescent about that last point. I mean, the fact that you wouldn't have Harry Kane in a Man United team at the moment. I mean, a few weeks ago, people were talking about Solskjaer going. I mean, the bloke is far better than anything Man United have to offer. And ultimately, I think if you spoke to any Man United fan who knew a little bit about football, they might agree with that.
I've been supporting United since I was 5. I was given the team by my stepbrother, and I followed them. I'm now 61 years old. I've known them through good years and bad years. And we've never, ever really worked with an out-and-out striker. Man United have always sprung from midfield.
Like Ruud van Nistelrooy then?
Like I said, if you look over the years, we had Charlton. You know, he was the second highest goal scorer. He was a midfielder. He wasn't an out-and-out attacker.
Ruud van Nistelrooy wouldn't go down as an out-and-out striker.
He was an out-and-out striker, yes. But what I'm saying is that over the years, Man United have always run from the midfield. For most of that's where the high proportion of their goal scorers have come from. They evolved from time to time. But no, I'd rather have Jadon Sancho. Whatever the money takes.
Jadon Sancho isn't an out-and-out striker. Jadon Sancho wouldn't solve your problems. He's a winger.
He would, because he would fit in with Martial, Rashford and James. And it would give us 4 strikers. And if one of them, we could revolve a lot easier.
Mark, just wait there, Josh, Chris, wait there. Mark, so what you're saying is you wouldn't take Harry Kane from a mid-table side?
No, I think we've had a really rubbish start. We had a good summer out abroad. We went the summer unbeaten. Okay, you can say there weren't big matches, but I believe we beat Tottenham out in the Far East. Was it Inter Milan they beat in the Far East as well? You know,
Not sure why you're talking about
how many teams this year have taken points off Liverpool? Couldn't anybody tell me?
Say that again, Mark. I missed that.
How many teams have taken points off Liverpool this season?
Just Man United.
Nobody. Last week it was kind of, Liverpool and Man United, they were about the same. Nobody was saying, it was a good display by Man United. It was a good display by Liverpool. That's the trouble when you get two good teams. They cancel each other out. It's just, as simple as that.
For me, this discussion's turned into talking about Harry Kane. I think anyone would agree that putting Harry Kane in would improve Man United. The bigger problem for me is, of course he would. I mean, he's a proven goal scorer, 20-plus goals a season, and of course Man United would have had him if he was an option. The bigger concern for me is at Tottenham is that lack of work rate, that lack of intensity. You look at that phenomenal performance for England rugby yesterday, granted different sport, but the Vunipolas, that work rate was just incredible. And that's the way to beat teams. And that's what Liverpool do week in, week out. And Tottenham just aren't matching that at the moment.
Well, Mark, Chris,
Harry Kane really isn't the problem there.
I agree with
Mark,
you 100% there.
Chris, Josh, sorry to interject. Thank you so much for your points. It is becoming the Harry Kane show. Thank you so much. But we're going to head over now to Gareth, who's the Arsenal fan.